Hi, potential investors. What if I told you that one of the most fast growing and most aggressively growing companies today isn't a company that makes microchips? It's a company that makes ice cream machines, fans, vacuums, and grills. This is SharkNinja. At a current value of $127 per stock and my target value of $180, that's a 41% upside. So let's take a look. For my analysis and my investment theses, I had three main principles which I evaluated this on. The first was that SharkNinja had an extremely fast product cycle with a 6 to 9 month product cycle compared to other competitors having a 12 to 24-month product cycle. Second, it's expanding into high margin sectors like beauty and smart home. And third, it has accelerated growth in Europe and Latin America. Let's take a look at a company overview. SharkNinja is a global product design and technology company that creates high-quality lifestyle solutions for customers. The company is made of two of the most recognizable brands: Shark, which dominates floor care and home, and Ninja, which is an industry leader in kitchen appliances. I have Ninja knives and I have a blender. In terms of how SharkNinja is fundamentally changing its industry, the industry itself is shifting towards masstige, which is basically meaning that Gen Z customers and millennials want high quality products but for a lower price. They don't want like a Dyson price, for example. And this term masstige was invented in 2003 by a couple of HBR article authors. While the term is old, its applications are still ongoing. Now, it can't be a stock pitch without doing an economic moat analysis. Let's look at SharkNinja's innovation cycle here. SharkNinja starts off with looking at customer reviews. It uses agentic AI to analyze millions of reviews across platforms like Amazon and TikTok and identifies pain points, or friction that the customer is facing. Then it feeds this data into R&D, and using their 24-hour cycle that I was mentioning earlier, they achieve a concept to shelf timeline of 6 to 9 months. How do they do it? While it might seem trivial, the solution is a 24-hour cycle of engineering. This means that they have an office in the United States, London, and China. So once a certain team is done with innovating, they can hand it off to the next team once they leave. So this means that innovation is happening and they're building upon each other 24/7. Now, while it might seem like other companies are doing this, it's actually a really uncommon thing in this sector. For example, Whirlpool and Breville, they're not doing this. Ninja is very unique in their sector for doing this. As we were talking about before, this masstige positioning, they dominate the sweet spot between this budget category, for example, Black plus Decker, and luxury, which is like maybe Dyson, by reverse engineering premium products and features and selling it for a lot less. Now let's look at specifically what competitors they have. They have in terms of vacuums, they have Dyson, and which they undercut selling premium tech for less. For like cleaning robots, they're competing against iRobot, which they use better navigation, LiDAR technology than Roomba's camera-based systems. It uses LiDAR instead. For Dyson in beauty, they create a near identical styling tool. For example, the Dyson Airwrap versus the Shark FlexStyle for half the price, $300 versus $600. In kitchen, it's they're competing against Breville. Here you can see Ninja's air fryer versus Breville's air fryer. They get ahead of Breville by launching products faster. Brands like Breville and KitchenAid, they take a lot longer to engineer their products. Well, using Ninja's 24-hour cycle of engineering, they can make products faster than anyone else. For example, their viral slushy makers were made faster than anyone else in the 2023 slushy rush viral trend. Now let's look at my personal favorite part. It's a financial analysis. This is an income statement of SharkNinja. Well, it looks a little bit complicated. Well, just take a look at some of the key parts. We can see the company, based on this blue section here, is growing significantly faster than the revenue. The net income in financial year 2025 increased by almost 60%, and on only almost 16% sales growth. This means that they're not only growing in total sales, but they're also becoming more efficient and they're having more profit. This is always good. But let's look at the second one, successful diversification. Let's look at the second green circle here. SharkNinja has reduced reliance on certain like cleaning and barbecue categories by having some massive growth in categories like food preparation and beauty and home environment, with 31.6% and 45.3% respectively. This means it's expanding into new sectors that hadn't been in before, and they're having a lot of growth. They now account for 37% of total sales. Next, we have proven international scalability. These are all part of our investment thesis. International sales grew by 20.8%, as you can see here. I just converted the numbers to percentages to make it easier to understand, significantly outpacing domestic growth, which is at 13.5%. This suggests that there's a lot more potential for the international industry. Now, there's just some. I've had some graphs here. You can see earnings here are seasonal, so they have a drop off in Q1 and then it picks back up. Here, the second graph right here is Wall Street estimates. So what investors are thinking. You can see very little downside here, and there's a lot of upside based on the general analyst consensus. And this also plays a big role in my evaluation as well. Porter's 5 forces, SharkNinja is looking strong. And in the indicators, it's also looking strong. This is technical indicators. So in the 1 month to 2 month kind of ratio, strong buy, strong buy. This kind of looks at moving averages, RSI, that kind of stuff. So based on all of this financial analysis, I think that as a YS analyst, the target price should be $180, which is a 41% increase from today. So let's look at some ESG considerations. SharkNinja is a very ethical company. I've read its 40-page ESG paper, which it publishes every year to investors. Basically, they have 3 different scopes. While I could be here for a couple hours explaining to you exactly what these scopes are, they're basically environmental goals, the specific environmental goals that SharkNinja wants to reach. They want to reach 100% renewable electricity, and they want to make a refurbish program, which has already refurbished 4.4 million units since 2019. They've also eliminated PFAS chemicals from shark packaging from the past couple years of backlash. Social responsibility and inclusive design, they promote workplace equity, they give their employees stock, and they use consultants from third parties to evaluate whether their products are good for accessibility, like for people who are blind, people who are deaf. In terms of governance, they have a zero tolerance policy against forced labor, and they maintain continuous audits, and they've had their recent climate risk assessment. They also donate to local organizations like STEM research organizations, as you can see here, bottom right. Okay, AI integrations and investment risks. So this is a very key part of volatility and the AI boom that we're experiencing today. SharkNinja is mainly looking at AI partnerships, enhanced products, and AI-driven operations. For partnerships, it's partnering with the Questrom School of Business in Boston University to make an AI analytics lab for its internal purposes. It's using AI-enhanced products, as you can see on the bottom right here. It has a Shark AI robot vacuum. Now you might be like, how are we incorporating AI into a vacuum? Well, it uses AI vision detection and LiDAR for precise navigation and object avoidance. And next, we have AI-driven operations. SharkNinja uses natural language processing and has a personal shopper agent which customers can interact with. And thank you. I hope after hearing all this, you're convinced to buy SharkNinja stock and take this wild adventure with me. Thank you for your time.